Santa, thanks for taking the time to meet with us because I know it's a very busy time of the year.
You're welcome, KP. I'm glad to do it.
Well, thank you.
And by the way, Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to you too.
Thanks.
I was wondering, obviously you've been called to do a very, very meaningful and very big job. What was it that led you to be called to do this?
It really was the desire of my heart many, many, many years ago. And I thought to be able to do this and to share this with children and their families would be such a privilege.
Obviously, being Santa takes you around the world and takes you away from home. What does Mrs. Claus think about this calling?
Oh, Mrs. Claus is wonderful. I don't think I could do any of this without her partnership. I'm here right now in Oklahoma meeting lots of children. And of course, I have to make other visits to other places.
Yeah.
And then that one big night when we're really busy. But the real work happens year-round with the elves. And somebody has to keep an eye on them because they really like to play mostly.
Oh, yeah.
So Mrs. Claus kind of makes sure that they're safe and makes sure that the work keeps moving. And she listens to me when I get a little grumpy.
Santa gets grumpy?
Oh, sometimes it's very tiring doing what I do.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah.
Do you ever get discouraged?
Well, only really when I meet someone, a child or an adult, who just doesn't believe. I'm discouraged when someone gives up hope. I think for so much of what I do, it's about hope, it's about joy, and it's about relationship with one another. And every once in a while I'll meet someone who is just so sad or who is convinced that things are not ever going to go their way. And I think that part of what God has called me to do is to bring hope to people's lives. So when I encounter them, it's a special challenge for me to try to let them know what the reason for the season is, the real reason, and to connect with the hope of Jesus' promise.
Everybody knows you live in the North Pole and there's a lot of snow. But have you ever wished you would have chosen to live somewhere tropical and warm like a beach or something?
One good thing about being Santa is that I don't have to work all year round. So you'll probably see me from time to time in a Hawaiian shirt and shorts because I love the sun. And yes, we get away as much as we can. Sometimes we take cruises and we visit beaches, and so you'll see me out and about, not in my warm red suit, but in more casual clothes.
Yeah. What's your favorite cookie?
Well, any cookie that somebody gives me.
How many cookies do you think you eat on Christmas Eve?
I can't even count. I can't. But lately I have been saying to the children, please just leave one cookie for me. And I ask them to sample it first, have a few there themselves, and about this much milk, because I really need to watch my weight. So I've been trying to cut down.
Yeah, that'd be tough with all the cookies laid out for you. If somebody doesn't have a chimney or a fireplace, how do you get in?
Usually the parents leave the door open for me.
Oh, so the parents are in on it.
The parents are in on it. We stay in communication really pretty much all year. This time of year it gets more intense. But the parents will either leave a key outside under the mat for me, or they'll just leave the door open, and then they expect me to lock the door when I leave so that everybody will be safe.
Okay, because I know, I have your phone number, and I've had to show my children every once in a while that, hey, you don't want to end up on the naughty list, and I've got Santa's number right here. And so that usually calms them down and keeps them, they don't want to get a bad phone call from their dad to Santa telling on them or something.
Well, I have some good news for them. Now, there is a naughty list, that's for sure. But one of the things that Santa has to remind children and parents is that the naughty list is not permanent.
Oh, that's
The
good.
naughty list is very much like Jesus. Santa and Jesus have the same attitude about not doing as well as we should. When children have a bad day, I say, you need to say, I'm sorry, and I'll try not to do that again. And at that moment, I forgive them and Jesus forgives them. And then we both forget about it, so they can start over again the next day. That's pretty hopeful, isn't it?
That's very hopeful. That's something that you should tell some of the people that are grown up, that
Yes.
you get discouraged by, that have no hope, it seems
Yes,
like, and
exactly.
don't believe.
Exactly.
Out of everything that you get to do, what's your favorite part about getting to be Santa?
Wow, that's a good question. I like the opportunity, I think, to meet children and hear what they're thinking about and what they're doing. I love to have a chance to have a conversation, not just to hear what they want for Christmas, but to learn a little bit about them, because every single one of those children is unique and special, and many of them have some amazing ideas. I just love to hear their ideas.
So you read the Bible.
Oh yes,
Do you have a favorite Bible verse?
I have many, but I think my very favorite one is when Jesus was being asked by some officials who were sort of not really liking him too much, what is the greatest commandment? They were trying to trick him. And they said, what's the greatest commandment, teacher? And he said, the greatest commandment is to love your God with your whole mind and your whole soul and your whole strength. And then he said, and the second is like it, to love your neighbor as yourself. And I think for me that sums up what God wants us to do, to give him praise and to recognize that he is our creator and our king, and then to recognize that he made all these other people and that all of them are people that he loves, and he wants us to treat them as well as we would want to be treated ourselves.
Well, Santa, I know it's a very busy time of year, so we'll let you get back to what you're called to do.
Ho, ho, ho. Thank you, KP.
Thank you.
Good to see you again.
Good to see you.